Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Oscar's Cozy Corner, and welcome back to another cozy decorating long play. Today, we are working with this beautiful floral princess castle kit. This is an incredible item. I'm hoping that I can show you some fun stuff to do with it today to make it worth your while, but I don't think it needs any introduction. It is absolutely gorgeous. You can see just behind me, we do have a build on the go up on the peaceful meadow floating island. Super excited to get into this, super excited to walk through it all with you. I really enjoyed this build. I hope that you do too. If you do like the video at any point, please do consider giving it a like. I would really appreciate it. Maybe even subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content. But this is a nice long play for you today, so let's just jump straight into it with a brand new blank floating island and let's get going. So I might actually be too inspired with this gorgeous building kit that we got in the premium shop, including this stunning princess house, because when I was putting the mood board together for this build, I just kept finding items that I thought would go with it. So it turns out I have a lot more than I usually do to play with, but I am up here on the peaceful meadow floating island, and I think we're just going to get going. I don't have an idea in my brain of what I want to do for this build, but this kit, this house, these walls are genuinely just so inspiring to me that I think we'll come up with something absolutely stunning. So the first thing that I'm going to do, we're going to find a home for this house roughly in the middle. Now I do want to make sure that this is centered, so we're going to do my rather anal rug work to make ourselves find the center of the floating island itself. I can't remember which is the biggest rug. That's what I was looking for just now. Some of these rugs are like super small, but I know we do have some big ones. I think the seaside one is probably the biggest. However, I don't have a great deal of that one, so I might just have to go back to my trusty old playing cards, and I'm just going to put one on each side. And then we're just going to come in by one until they kind of like roughly meet in the middle. Having said that, I only have 10 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to group mode. I'm going to take that. No, that doesn't work. Oscar, what are you doing? That doesn't work. I can't use group mode for that purpose. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to bring just another rug in temporarily. There we go. So that's roughly the middle. Now this house, I'm not sure if it's exactly centered. It does look to be. It's just the fact that it's higher on the left. So there's a slightly higher turret, makes it look off center, but actually it seems as though the footprint is centered. So that is about central for our house, which is grand. I'm just going to go ahead and remove those rugs right now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a path from the top of the island all the way to the bottom, just so I can remind myself where the center is. So let's pull that down. Let's go across, and we'll just line it up to those doors. There we go, just like that. We know that is now the center, and then I can bring this all the way down here. And I think that's the only center that I need to find. I'm not that bothered about finding the middle one, or I should say the vertical one across here. I think that we can manage with what we've got. So I'm just going to pop that castle in the middle, and then I did actually think I could incorporate this lotus house somehow into this build. So I was wondering if they went on opposite sides. I haven't used this lotus house yet, but it is very pretty. So I was thinking maybe, possibly they could like face each other in some capacity. I do wonder if they need to go back a little bit, maybe on both sides to round about there. But I would also like to try and fit some foliage on the outside of the walls as well. So I need to bear that in mind, because I do want this wall kit ideally creating, for lack of a better term, a compound around the edge, and then having all the stuff in the middle, which I think could be quite nice. And then I'm just going to pop the well in the center for the time being. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change that over to the cherry blossom one. I know that that has a little more, well, actually, yeah, I guess it has a little more Asian influence, but actually the pink the sparkles, the light. I think it just matches with the color palette that we're aiming for this build. So I'm going to bring some of this stuff down here out of the way now. And what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to work on the main structure. So the actual building itself. And I'm just going to bring some of these pieces across. They do clip in certain ways, so you can actually get them kind of going into each other, which is a dream. But let's just see what we can come up with. I'm just going to simply play around and see if I can create something that looks or feels a little bigger. So that already kind of does that just by putting one of those on each side. I wonder if you can get diagonals involved in any way. Actually, that looks pretty good with the little diagonal going on there. I'll just need to make sure that I'm lining that up properly. I think it needs to come down one. Let me grab a quick piece of path and run that across the front. Yeah, so in theory, that should be down one, but it doesn't seem to want to fit unless it goes all the way off to the side. So when you work with diagonals, it's stuff like that. You need to keep in mind the footprint can be slightly different depending on what you are doing, but I can always pull that one on the right back a little bit. Something like that, and that just makes it already feel a bit grander. We do also have these, I think these are like the gate houses or something like that. I wonder how close we can get that. Unless we pop that. In the front. I think in the front is too much. What if we pop it out back? Trying to clip into the building slightly if we can. That clips a little bit. I believe that these are reversible, it seems, on both sides. So where's that? It's about there. Let me bring that across. And it looks as though I can get it just about there. I think that's one behind that. So that looks good. That feels like an even bigger palace already, just compared to the single house that we've got, which is pretty cool. And then maybe we do... See, I love these archways as well. I do really love these archways. So perhaps we sneak one of these in. But let's do it all the way back here in the middle, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I think I need to move that down one. Man, this kit is good. This kit is so good. And then we can possibly come on out to some of the smaller walls. So then it does drop down to the quote-unquote regular wall over here. So let's do maybe something like that. And then let's run that out for maybe 3. Let's do that for 3 walls. Actually, I'm thinking maybe we do it for 2, and maybe we bring some of these gatehouses. I think that's what they're called. Everything seems to be misnamed, unfortunately, with that, but let's try that on both sides. And then maybe we could do an extra wall. And then perhaps we can fit in this corner piece with the turret. There we go. Unless the corner piece with the turret looks a little bit better attached just to that, which I think it does. So let's do that on this side. Let's go ahead and pop that in place right there. Actually, that needs to go forward just by 1. By the look of it, and would you look at that? Look at that big old castle, princess, fairy, pink, whatever you want to call it. Oh, it looks so good. This kit, man, this kit is so good. Now, I know that I have not put down the big pieces, so you might see some Pixie Acres inspired stuff in here, and I actually just thought it kind of, for me, matches the whimsy of this castle, which I think goes really nicely. However, I've not put down yet any of the big Pixie Acres trees or the Pixie Acres clusters or anything like that. So I'm a little bit worried that they won't fit out the back, i.e. like this. However, the Tigger one, I'm not sure on anyway. But I really do like this one, for example. Mostly for the color story because it's got the pink. It's got the pink bellflower type things inside of it. I do have these large bellflowers, which might actually be more malleable in this type of build. So I don't know whether to just pull all of that forward slightly. If I jump into group mode, I should be able to grab that one. Okay, I can't do that one yet. So let me come out of group mode and let me move this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to try 8. Let's see if that works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. And then we should be able to do 8 on this side. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if that was enough. I'm not sure. Seems like it might have been like one short. That is such a shame. If that one fits, will this one fit? No, I think I'm like a handful short on this side, but that's fine. I'm gonna do it again. Let's come forward another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's come forward 6. And then we should, in theory, be able to fit what we need in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like a hypnotist. I'm about to say, and fall asleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now wake up. Okay, I'm probably going to do all that, and I might not even end up using these, but I wanted the option. That's the main thing. I wanted the option of using something like this out the back. Just to tap into the whimsy, specifically behind these little wall sections. Because don't you think that looks cute? Don't you think it just looks as though there's like something really adorable going on out the back like that? You know what? It was worth it, even if it leaves us with less space in the middle. Even if it leaves us with less space. So let's do one of those in each corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that as well. So it just kind of has that little floral element. Oh my goodness, I love this so much already. This is so cool. I don't actually think I'm going to use the sycamore tree, so I'm actually going to remove that for now. I can get rid of these individual pieces because I've used all of those, so I'll just kind of clean up as I go. And then I'm going to bring in a couple of walls down the side. So we're going to do... Actually, it's probably going to be more than a couple. I hope that I have enough. Let's do that. And then... I don't know, maybe we bring in some of the other pieces as kind of like middle areas. I actually might need to work out where the wall kit is going to go on the bottom. So, off the back of that, let me grab as much of this stuff as I physically can. And with group mode, I now can. Look at that. It works. Still don't know if it's going to save, so we have to test that, because I was having group mode saving issues prior to the update. But fingers crossed, all of that has been taken care of. I'm going to leave this linger so I can at least take a screenshot just for a second so I know where stuff was. And then we're going to try and come out of furniture mode and pray and cross our fingers that everything will be okay. It does take a little while to save sometimes, which is fine. But as long as it doesn't delete items, which it does not appear to have done. Very exciting for me as somebody who has suffered unduly with items deleting. I'm very happy that that has fixed itself. So actually now I'm kind of considering leaving the base of this open. So I like the idea of having all of these walls, maybe coming down to about the halfway point, but then maybe we leave the back open so you can kind of see out to the water rather than it being a true physical compound right around the edge. So I do think we could get away with having the walls stop round about here in some capacity. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place another wall down. I'm going to grab that and center that where it should be, which is around about there. And we're just going to try and come up with something that looks cute. So I don't need the archway necessarily by there, so I could do something like that to give it a little extra interest. And then maybe we could finish that off with one of these kind of like gatehouses, just like that. So let's do that right there. Kind of like that. And then it just sort of finishes itself off, I guess. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to group mode this. Looks like I can't get as far down as I would like, but I'm going to group that. I'm just going to save that as a preset, and we're going to save it as princess walls. I'm going to OK. And then in theory, I should just be able to duplicate the whole thing to this other side. But first, I should probably place down the amount of walls that I'm missing. So if I come out of group mode, I think it's 3. So let's do 1, 2, 3. Then we can grab the princess walls and we can add them on the end. I think I came out 1 too many. I did. It was not 3 walls. It was only 2. Then I'll grab that again and we'll pop that down. And that looks as though it lines up very nicely. So we do have the idea of it being a courtyard, a royal courtyard. However, we don't need to use a full wraparound. So that leaves us with this nice lotus house that looks very pretty facing the actual castle. So we can move on and we're going to play around with some other ideas, which means I can get this stuff back out of the way down in the corner for the time being, mostly because I want to work on this central section. Actually, I've grabbed the well by accident. Let me exit from that. It seems as though I might have a little bit too much in my selection. Let's move that down. Move this over. And I can grab those items. We've got those leftover ones, and I'll just pop those over there. I'm not really sure where to place a few of these things. If I grab this well, maybe I think the well should be centered between the lotus flower and the actual castle entrance. So maybe it's a case that I have the lotus flower come all the way back to the water, but no, that feels too close. That feels too close. I could probably go to about there. What I need to do is I need to roughly work out, for my own sanity, the distance. So I'm just going to come off the front of this building like that. So I've got 1 here, and then if I come off the front of this building, I've got 1 there. So 2, 2, 3, 3. And then I should just be able to line this up right in the center. Just like that. However, sometimes the path is a little bit off. So because the path is on its own grid as well, it means that it might not always be where you expect it to be. However, for this one, it does look as though that is dead center, which works for me. I'm going to get rid of that, and that, so we know where we stand. And then just for the sake of it, I know I didn't need the horizontal center, but if I have it, I may as well use it. So we've got something like that, which looks gorgeous. And then I guess we can just play around with what else we want. So I was thinking of using maybe this regal fountain. There's quite a few different fountains in the game. Let me search real quick. We do have the Pegasus fountain, which I don't think will go. We have the illuminated fountain, but I actually want water instead. In terms of fountains that match the color scheme otherwise, it's relatively limited because I'm kind of using gold. I mean, the Mickey one does look decent. The enchanting one looks decent, but it's a little bit small. So for me personally, I do think that the regal one has the strongest look. So I'm thinking maybe we do something where it sits like that on each side. That could be fun. Because that color really just stands out, I think. Part of me is just looking at these back walls and wondering whether I should tweak this. Give me a sec. Because part of me is looking at that and thinking, are they in the right place? Let me do center of that, center of that. I think those archways need to come out. That's what my gut is telling me. Those archways need to come out to the sides. Because it doesn't feel quite right to have this go down, 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 and then back up the archway. But also this on the outside. Okay. Also, I think all of these are one-off, which is bugging me. Let's do that. Let's do that for a second. See where we sit. And then maybe let's put that on this side. I think I prefer that. Yeah, I think I prefer that. I don't think I have... I mean, I have this little one, right? Unless I replace that with that. But then I'm going to have to move everything across. No, let's leave it. Let me not fuss. Let me not fuss too much. But I do think that that's the correct way to do it. So I'm just going to remove that one. I'm going to bring this all the way over into the center. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to place that in where it needs to go, which is what? No. Did you see that? I'm hitting that. All right. I think I got it. That was close. There we go. Look at that. I'm like, the grid is just around that back piece. It was like it was meant to be. So maybe I should take it. And then one there. And then one should be able to fit in that gap. Okay. Let's go with that instead. That feels a little bit better for me. Then obviously we've got these fountains. So I'm kind of wanting the fountains centered amongst these two squares. So I'm going to have to pull out my trusty playing cards once again. I'm going to grab these and I'm going to do one on that side. One on that side. One on that side, one on that side, and we're just going to center that if we can. Just like that. And then I know that's dead center, so I can run one tile all the way down there. Then I can get rid of them and I can do the same. So what is it? 1, 2, 1, 2. And that is dead center. However, that one will require 2 tiles. And you'll see that it's slightly off the path for that one. So I'm going to have to come a little bit closer just by 1 tile. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this all the way out to here. And I'm just going to pull this all the way out to the edge. I know that you don't have to measure in this game. I know, but I like to. So there. That's that. Perfect. I don't know if group mode actually extends all the way to the edge. Oh, it does. So I was wondering, am I going to be able to actually do something on the right-hand side and then save it as a preset and duplicate it to the left? I'm really hoping that that's the case. I'm quite excited to try. So we're just going to build out this right-hand side to begin with. And I haven't placed any river kit pieces down yet, but I do think that I want to use them. I'm not sure what to go with. I'm not too sure. I do really like these golden gazebos as well. Those are really cute. Oh, wait, maybe I just do one of those on each side. Look at that. It goes like kind of over the... Oh, it goes kind of over that and it looks really cute. I like that. Okay, let's do that. I was going to have one as well, like on the entrance, but actually I think that detracts. I don't need that. I want all of that on show. But I'm going to place one over there in the corner, which is quite adorable. And then maybe we could do... Where's my topiaries? We've got this topiary down at the moment, but I'm not convinced about the peacock. No matter what Katy Perry says, I am not convinced on said peacock. So we might have to look for a different one. But I think maybe having a path around this would be nice. Maybe some seating if possible. I don't know. I put these beast columns down and I know that they're a little bit like darker, but the pink at the top is almost an identical match, and there's a dark purple on the windows, so I did think that they were pretty accurate, I guess, to match in the color story that we've got going on. I do seem to only have 4 of them, so I might need to pick up a couple more, but I actually quite like that. Let's do... I'm gonna need a path coming out of here, right? So I'm gonna need a path like this. So what if I do this 3 path down to this point, like that, and then maybe we do another one and we use planting and florals in these 2 beds that we've created. So I'm just gonna do this a sec. I'm gonna do that. And then we could come 1. And then we probably need at least 1 across the back. And then another one like that. And then around the actual fountain itself, unless we don't have anything come towards the fountain, like unless we don't have any paths come towards the fountain, let me remove those pillars just for a second. So I do have these square topiaries, which I do love, and look at that, it kind of fits perfectly on the edge like that. I don't know if this path is what I'm going to end up using. I'm not sure. I don't hate it. It's just ever so slightly the wrong style, maybe. Right, it looks like I'm going to struggle to put those particular topiaries around this, which is fine. We could use them elsewhere. I need to have a think about what I want. Let's try maybe having a diagonal path coming off the back of that. So something like this. Maybe like that. And then if I change that to diagonal, that could work. That could work. And then we could put florals, i.e. stuff like, where did they go? These little trees, you know, and treat these as flower beds. I do like to do my foliage towards the end, but I think that's the right decision. And then we could do that in here, and we can also do it over here. It is bugging me that this bit is like not fully on tiles, so I'm gonna have to tile this section like that, unless I do it to where the diagonal is. And then on this side I do the same thing by putting that underneath like that. And then I wonder if we... This does look complicated at the moment, just like based off what we're doing, but it will come together as it always does, of course. However, just getting to the point of it coming together can sometimes take a hot minute. But I think if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, I think that's all we had on that side. Did we have an extra one? Oh, we did. We had 4. I am mistaken. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill in those little gaps just like that. Okay. And then the only thing I'm wondering now is whether we do anything with that path. Whether we have a path there or whether we do not have a path there. That's kind of where I'm stuck right now, and that's my question. I kind of feel like I do want one. I feel like it breaks up the space and it gives us like defined areas. You know, something like that, but I think it would have to be 3 wide on that particular bit. And then 2 wide elsewhere. Whether I have something come out the sides like this, I don't know. I don't think I want that. But we will continue to play around and see. At least we've got some sort of structure going on. I'm just going to delete those for now. So I know that this is going to be a flower bed. So is this, so is this, and so is this. So that's at least a plan for that section. I am going to change this all to be diagonal right now as well, which is nice. So what else have we actually got that could sit in here? Now, I did have these archways. I don't know if these are a little bit too much. I don't know if they feel out of place. I do like them pretty much just because of the gold elements. I just think it really matches what we're trying to do here. So I'm thinking of maybe using that possibly as kind of like the... I don't want it on all 4 corners of the fountain. I think that's probably going to be, you know, a little bit too much to block it in like that. But we could have it... I mean, we could have it just coming off the sides, something like this on either side. Perhaps. Just rotate that. I mean, I like that. I think that's fun. We do have this gigantic floral gazebo as well, which I was also toying with using. These puff air balloons, which feel so magical. Super, super magical. I love those as well. I'm getting distracted by all the pretty things. This is like really bringing out my inner princess. The builds I usually do are not this princessy and this pink and sparkly and all that good stuff. So I'm having fun with this, to be honest, today. I also really love these kind of like, they're almost like, I think they're meant to be like horse jumps, but they're like giant magnifying glasses. And I just think they look really cool. So it could be that maybe we do something like hat on each side. I don't know. These are throwing me off. Maybe they are not right for this, but having said that, from ground level, they do look quite cool. So I'm going to leave those in there for now. I did get the stone fence today, which is very exciting. I don't know. I've put a bunch of marble stuff down. I've put all this marble stuff down together. I don't know whether it goes or not. I honestly cannot decide. I know that we have that structure to kind of make the stone fence areas. But part of me is saying that these are not pink enough for this particular build, but maybe that's just me overthinking it. It's mostly that they don't really match the same color tone as the walls. So that kind of bugs me, but it is a very elegant stone fence. So maybe I just need to suck it up and get on with it, because if I go into fences and fencing, we don't really, I mean, we've got these flowering ones from Pixie Acres, but again, those are kind of leaching into super whimsical, whereas I'm trying to strike a balance between whimsy but also structure and formality and regality and all of that sort of stuff. I know that we do have the Edwardian ones as well, but again, the black and the white amongst everything else that we've got going on doesn't feel like it's the proper fix. We don't actually have any gold fences. Not as far as I'm aware. We don't actually have anything that's like super gold or anything like that that would be a really nice match for this build, which is a shame now that I come to play around with this, you know? Anyway, enough of that. Let's just do something. Let's get ourselves off the mark. Well, I mean, we're pretty off the mark anyway, but let's get ourselves going. I love this little like drapery, the colors of this from Cinderella. I think it was a friendship quest, but I just absolutely adore this like ribbon that's floating down. I think it's one of the prettiest things in the game. That right outside the house looks great, especially because it goes with the fountain. Unless instead of the horseshoe, we kind of had these floating above the path towards that fountain. Let me see how that looks. I mean, yes, that looks great too. I do actually think that the horseshoe might work a little better because of the size and the structure. So it could be that we use this elsewhere. Maybe we have it just like almost running down the sides to welcome you towards, I don't know, you know, something like that. It could run down the sides to welcome you towards the door. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let me take that back real quick. Or maybe it goes somewhere else, like down here. That could be... All right, let me try this on all four sides first before I write it off. Something like that, and then maybe... Where was it? 2 or 3 back, just for the sake of testing. I mean, that does look quite cool, having them floating, but I don't know if it's going to be like a little bit too much because I'm going to duplicate this on this left-hand side as well. I'm going to swap this for the brick road just for the time being. I kind of feel like that one, I don't know, I can't decide. I don't know whether that one feels stronger. I mean, the gold does kind of work as well. I might need to might need to craft some more to be able to use the gold. Actually, I kind of like the natural one too. I always do this. I go through the different types of path that we have and see what works, but quite a few of these are working for me today, except the cobblestone. I'm not loving the cobblestone and I'm not loving the sand naturally, but I don't know. I'm feeling at odds with this one. I'm feeling at odds with the brick path for this build, and I usually absolutely love the brick path, but I feel like it washes some of these elements out. So I don't know. Something about the gold is talking to me if I could get enough of the brick border version. But for now, because I have so much of this main street path, I'm going to go with that. But actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple of undos on this to get our horseshoes back. I should probably just move them, but there we go. And then I'll just place that back down around there, and perhaps we instead use the beast column somewhere around here. Something like that. I wonder if that matches. I mean, that does kind of go with the beast columns, right? Like, I didn't consider that. Oh, wait. No, I kind of like that now. Now I kind of like that. So what I could do is I could save that as a preset and just save it as arch, and then I could bring this down, and because of this new Mirage feature, which is really cool, I would be able to buy more of the beast columns just with my player character, which is pretty genius. If I do that again, I can bring that to what, there? So then if I actually come out of furniture mode, you'll see that they're kind of placed in this sort of dark shadow just in the background while it saves, but that means you don't have enough of that item. However, if you approach it and you go towards it, it should, in theory, allow you to buy more from Scrooge's, which doesn't seem to want to work. Oh, there we go. There we go. Order. Let's try that again. It is working. Look at that. See? And then you just buy them out and you don't have to run back to Scrooge's. It seems as though those two might be a little bit bugged. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of those, because I do think I've got 2 in my inventory. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't have 2 more in my inventory. I thought that I did. So let's try this again. Let's delete that. And then let's jump into presets and let's go to arch, and we'll place it down and see if that works. I'm going to come 1 back. Actually, I'm going to come 1 back on that side too. There we go. And then that section is all filled in just like that. Very, very pretty. And quite a cool idea, actually, to have that all draped around the edge. I really like that concept. I think maybe this does go with the brick. Does that match the brick a little better, or does it match the actual natural path? No, I don't think that matches the natural path. It doesn't have the same regal feel to it, or regal element. So let me disregard that. However, we could, let me take a look at what else we've got down here. We could bring in maybe, I was going to bring in some of this floral seating, but actually this bit feels a little bit more structured, right? So I don't know whether to bring in some of the nice park seating I've got out over here. But I do have these green ones with blue on. I was thinking the green kind of matches the roofs and the doors, and then the blue is tying in slightly to the fountain. Tell you what, this one at the back is bugging me. I don't think we need one at the back because it's right up against the wall. So I think we could have one on 3 sides and it would still work. Let me grab that again. But even then, I don't know where this would necessarily go because we don't have the path attached around the fountain. So it seems like an odd place maybe to put it, unless we found some way to add some extra path. But then we might be getting a little bit overcomplicated with the path. Yeah, I fear that I'm doing too much. I fear that I'm doing too much with the path. So I think maybe if you know what? I really love these blue ones as well. I don't really have many of these. I think this is also a Cinderella item. I really love that in context of the blue fountain and the blue accents we've got going on, especially when I look at it like this. But maybe there's no seating in these areas. Or maybe the seating is like out here on these diagonals. Something along those lines, like that, maybe. I could even have 2 next to each other. We could bring them back and out and back and out. Then we could actually maybe fit something in. I'm going to do an extra tile here, and I'm going to do an extra tile here, just for this path next to the fountain. So I'm going to do that all the way down. And I think I need one more coming off that side. Just underneath there, like that. I'm going to delete that. And then I'm going to bring that out like that. I'm going to change that to diagonal just so it looks as though you can actually, I might need one more. Let me just do that, so at least there's a path around this well as well. All right. Let's pop that down just like that. Maybe 2 benches is too much. I can't decide. Maybe 2 benches makes it feel wrong. Because at least with one, you can put like a little bit of decor either side. Yeah, I think 1 is the way to go. I definitely think 1 is the way to go. It is really bugging me the way that it kind of sits strangely off this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. And that just immediately makes me feel better. So I'm going to bring, this one down and this one down. Like that. And I don't know whether to do it on this side. What was it? This one down and this one down. And then this one down and this one down. And then we could maybe inset the bench in that. Haha. And we could inset the bench in that instead. There we go. And then I'm going to bring that forward. And I'm going to bring that forward. Just by 1. I brought it forward 2, but just by 1. And it's going to be super cute and look very pretty. That's the moral of the tale. There we go. Yeah, I like how that looks. This is going to be so much better with foliage too. It's going to feel so much stronger. I'm really excited to do the foliage, but I always tend to leave that until a little bit later on. So I'm just going to look at some of the smaller details that I have in terms of decor. We do have, I mean, I do have these as well, which is quite fun. So if I didn't want people walking down this path towards the fountain, you could put the inauguration ribbon down and be like, no entry, I'm sorry, only for paid visitors, or something akin to that, which I actually kind of like. I don't know why, I just kind of vibe with that. So let me see what I've got over here. I do have some just like nice decor elements, but actually it's mostly foliage. So now that I'm really going through this stuff, I thought that I had more non-foliage items, but it turns out I just put down all the foliage that I could possibly find and have, which, you know what, is fine by me. I like it. I just love this companion home. I can't remember if we only get one of these. I'm gonna have to check. And I do have these, again, these are foliage, but I do have these topiaries that I might be able to work with or squeeze in some capacity. But I think for decor, unless I wanted the river kit, which I've not put down right now, but why don't I just go ahead and place some of those pieces? I don't think I need anything bigger than that. Could I fit the river kit in any capacity? That's a question, and it is a great question. Do we have river in these areas? How would I block that off? All these things to think about. Let me just try something real quick. Let me see how it looks. It might be terrible, but you won't know unless you try, I suppose. We do have these corners as well. However, because of the way the river kit works, I would need to have them on the outside, just like that. So let's do one there. Let's try that maybe. Unless I just do the end. I don't think just the end pieces are going to work like that, right? No. The only annoying thing about these little Edwardian pieces is that they're on one side of the grid, so you can see that they're on like the right-hand side for some reason. A bit of a pain. But we can work with it. We can work with it. I don't think this is going to work. However, I do just want to give it a try. Let me see. Can I fit that there? But then I fear that I'm not going to be able to fit that piece. No, I can't. It just makes it all a little bit difficult. So what I was trying to do, I was thinking in my brain was, could I have the border of that running around? And then could I place the river kit inside so that's all neatly done up, so it looks as if this is in the water, I guess. However, it wouldn't look its strongest. I think it would look a little bit sad. But now I'm wondering, do I have the river kit like running up the sides of the path like this? Do I just have... I need to get rid of that, and I need to bring that down. But do I have some water running down here, maybe? That's as far as I can get because of the house. So that blocks me off there, but... I mean, it's definitely an idea. Otherwise, we might be able to use the river kit down on this lotus side. Maybe we have two big pools of water like here and here. That could be quite cute, and we reserve all of this up here for just more foliage. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to need to try and replicate this path on the other side, right? So I'm going to attempt to do that right now. This is going to come all the way up here. I know that this is the horizontal line that runs all the way through the bottom like this. Let's just fill that little space in super quick. I know that we've got... Actually, if I change it all back to non-diagonal, that will help. I know that we have piece running up there, and then we can come off like this. One day, maybe we'll get group mode or presets for pathing, and it includes pathing. Until that day, we're just going to have to continue to do stuff manually, which is fine. It's fine. Bring that across, maybe. Kind of like that. Maybe bring it down. And then I'll just fill in these gaps so you can't really see too much of the ground. Then off this one, I know it comes 1. Then it comes out for 2, or it goes down 1, and then it comes across, and then it goes down 2. So like that. And then I know that we run across the back. Like that. What else have we got? I feel like I'm out. Oh, of course I'm out. I started that without doing the 3. So 1, 2, 3, and that's where I should have come across. So 1, 2, down, out, 1, 2. There we go. That already matches. Very nice. So across here, out by 1, down, out by 2, down, and then down by 2. And fill in those little spots just like that. Oh, this looks nice. Very much a fan. Very, very much a fan of how this is coming together. Let's do... What have we got? We just got 1 tile gap by there. So we can run that all the way up. Run that back down. And then once more run it up. Do the same just out the top. Although it looks as though I'm out. What mistake did I make? I mean, it all looks even. Apart from maybe this one. I seem to have started this bit. Seem to have started that one too soon. Oh, again, I made the same mistake. I did not do the 3 before I started doing the diagonals. Note to self. Pay attention. Pay attention. So now I can do 1 out, down 1, across 2, down 1. Across 1, down 2. There we go. That seems to line up. That seems to line up. And that will leave me with enough space to do what I'm trying to do, which is come down here like that, and then across, and then up, across, and then down. Okay. Nearly there. Now on this side, I can just mirror that again. Just like that. Up 1. I think that looks about right. And that should line up with the base of that, which it absolutely does. And I can come across, bring that down to fill it in. Bring that down to fill it in, and then I can just come out the back with that. Grab, grab, grab. And that looks about right. What if I get rid of that one down the side? No, that looks a bit odd, right? I can keep it. I can keep that pathing down there. So let's do what it comes out from here. Actually, it comes out another one, right? And I can fill that in to there. Like that. And then let's do like that, like that, like that. Across 2. Down 2. And then I just need to fill in those little gaps. So there's 1 all the way to the bottom, across, up, and across. And I think that's a match. I think that's a match. Just let me wrap it up down in this corner. There we go. Just like that. I went ahead and popped a preset down and just filled in the space with that one. Those Mirages are just incredible. The way you can just walk up to them and get the item without having to go to Scrooge's. So thank you, Gameloft, for adding that to the game. That is a true quality of life upgrade, and it works pretty much flawlessly. So I absolutely adore it. Thank you very much, Gameloft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these, I think. And I know, we actually moved everything forward to fit them in, but part of me just really wants this like super pretty fairy balloon right behind the wall by here. It does bug me that it's slightly off center if I want it centered to the path. Like, really, I want it centered to the wall, but that's not centered to the path. So either way, it's going to bug me, but I think it's going to bug me more if it's not centered to the path. So I'm just going to do that on both sides, and we'll come up with something later for the other foliage and what we can fit in. But I just think that's cute, right? I just think it's whimsical. It's got all the like little pixie dust coming down off the back of it. I just think it's so fun. So fun and so cute. I would still love to use these topiaries somewhere, but I just don't think up in this section is quite right at the moment for these. It feels off. Like, if anything, they need to be the centerpiece, which I do actually also like as well. But I do like the colorways we've brought in with the fountains, and I do feel like those regal fountains really do fit this build. So we will find somewhere else for those topiaries. But I think for now, you know what? I'm itching to do foliage up here, so let's continue on with this half, and then we'll come back down to this area. There is still stuff that I should probably think about fitting in, and it's stuff like these fences and these columns and all sorts of stuff like that. But I do think that we could probably mix that in amongst the foliage. So first thing that I'm thinking, where's the biggest one? I think this is a companion tree, and this is pretty large. So I didn't know whether to squeeze that in as a first port of call. I don't know whether to have this on every side. One, two, actually. You know what? I saved that as a preset, but I probably shouldn't have to begin with. Because if I'm going to put a bunch of foliage in here, I could do the whole thing as a preset. How big does that group mode go? It does cover the whole section, so I'm going to be able to select and preset the whole thing, which is wild to me. I'm thinking maybe that, like roundabout here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, let's do 4. And what if I come in? If I come in 1 from each side, I'm 1, but not 1 on the bottom. Actually, it needs to be 6. Let's do... yeah, let's do that. Because they kind of like converge. Oh, they kind of converge at the top. But my question then being, should this be at the back? Because these are quite tall, right? These are super tall. So should they be at the back rather than be all intimidating at the front? Maybe in these gaps. So 1 about there, and then 1 about there. And then I could see what they look like. See, the only problem I have with that is that I feel like I'm losing. I feel like I'm losing looking at some of the buildings, you know, because they are very pretty, but I feel like I'm losing focus on the buildings. Even if I have them down the front. So maybe it's a case of having them on the lotus side. Maybe it's a case we have them down here in front of that lotus house or something like that when we come. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. When we come to do that build. So I'm going to leave those there for now. Instead, maybe we could look at some of the smaller pink trees, some of the smaller blossom trees that we have. So maybe something like this, perchance. Again, it does take up quite a lot of space. Maybe this one? So I could pop that, I don't know, round about there. And then round about there, maybe? Actually, you need to go there. Problem is, they need to go in different places if I'm trying to line them up like that, because they come out. So the trunk can't be in the same place, if that makes sense. So I'm looking at this from above, thinking, okay, well, these kind of like create the circle effect that I was going for, you know, like at those corners by there, but down on the front, actually the trunks are in weird places when you do that. So that's something you have to bear in mind. If I wanted the trunks to be in the same place, it would need to be something like that, which then I'm not actually all that keen on. I thought I placed a small version. I did. So I did place a small pink version. So maybe we have a small pink version on approach to the castle itself. Kind of maybe roundabout there. And then maybe we could bookend that down at the bottom. One there and one there. Actually, let's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. Let's pull that just in ever so slightly. That looks cute. I like that. I do like that. Maybe I do use these topiaries. Maybe we do something with these. Kind of. I don't know. I don't know what I'm about to do, so bear with me while I play around. We do have the different sizes. So this is a slightly smaller one. Will that fit behind Beast's pillar? It does. I'm just thinking of where I can get greenery in, how it can come in, you know, all of that good stuff. Unless we place one behind the seat. Although that just by itself looks kind of sad, right? Just one behind the seat looks a little bit... Actually, wait, no, it kind of makes a courtyard type effect. It kind of makes a courtyard-y-esque effect, so... Let me get rid of that one. Place this one down where it should be, and then I'm going to do the same over here. I know it blocks this door slightly, but it is what it is. And I know that... I mean, I really do love the curved ones as well, but these are much harder to fit on a diagonal. Wait, since when have those clipped into each other on a diagonal? Wait. I don't think that ever used to work. They used to work just fine on the kind of like 4-point rotation. I don't remember, unless it always worked on the 45. I mean, that's... I know it's got a little bit of a gap, but that's still pretty good. I don't know if they've tweaked that. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like they've tweaked the path. More investigation needed, I fear. More investigation needed, but let's do that, because I do quite like that vibe. And then what if we bring in, I don't know, maybe one of the cypress trees? I've got a couple of different types of cypress tree. I do love these kind of like wonky ones that we got. These are really fun to me. Like, what if I put one of those down here? I know that these are slightly in the way of the pillars on the other sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Full 8 rotation on that. But it kind of frames the... I don't know, it kind of frames the balloon a little bit. Don't you think? Maybe I'm going mad. Maybe it doesn't work. Unless we could put them elsewhere. Could we put them around the edges of the fountain. I do kind of like that, but I'm wondering if these are a little bit tall. So let me get rid of those ones a sec. Let me grab some of these ones because these actually feel like a closer match in tone to the roof. So what if I do... Where is the middle of that fountain? There. 1, 2. What if I come out 2 tiles? 1, 2. And we're going to do the same thing down here. 1. Actually, let me rotate the camera. 1, 2. And then I'm going to do one more out there. 1, 2. Actually, you need rotating and you need rotating. I like that. I do like that. Could there be a better place for the hedge? Maybe. Instead of just behind the seat, what if I did one medium-sized one and then one shorter one? And then I get rid of that one. You know, the one final thing after presets is not having to save a preset to duplicate. I absolutely love the idea of presets, but it would be fab if I didn't have to save a preset to be able to duplicate the items. So that's hopefully a future quality of life coming. I'm gonna come out to about there. I'm just gonna bring that over. I'm gonna go there and pop this one in like that. And let me get rid of those and those. Oh yeah, that's starting to feel better now, right? That's starting to feel much more elegant, much more regal. I really like how that looks. Yes, 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 yes. I wonder what other trees we have, because I've not put down all the trees I was thinking of, to be perfectly honest. I just put down a handful to begin with, and I didn't really go through trees. I know we've got this other big tree here, but I think that's a bit too big for the inner workings of this garden. It would be nicer on the outside. Same goes for like the oak tree here. Love the canopy on this, but I feel like it's just a bit too monstrous for this area. Having said that, I don't know. I know it blocks the air balloon. I know, but I actually kind of like that. Let me get rid of that and see if I can come up to... Oh, I do like the way that I can come up to the wall with it. There's RIP to everything that goes in this slot because it keeps changing, but I don't know. The way the canopy just kind of like creeps over the wall like that, I really, really like that. Oh, I really like that. I think I'm going to have to do that. We're going to have to find another home for those balloons. I'm sorry to those puff air balloons. One day you will find peace. Unfortunately, it is not today. Yes, I kind of like that. Okay. Well, if we do that, and I wonder if... No, see, the pink next to that looks terrible. What are you thinking, Oscar? Why would you ever try that? Let me take a quick look through this list. We've got these big puff dandelions, which are quite whimsical, but are they appropriate? I'm leaning towards no. However, I do love these large bellflowers, even if they do have a big old ladder coming off the back of them. It could be that we use those in some capacity. Even though it sits on the path. They do look cute though. I wish it didn't have the ladder. That's the only thing that I really wish it didn't have. Because if I angle it towards the castle, it kind of... That kind of looks cute, right? So I don't know whether to get rid of the path down here. And what if I instead joined it up like this? Possibly? I mean, that could be an idea. That could be an idea that looks good. I mean, I like that. Would I do the same down here? No, but we did always we made this three-sided anyway, so actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's change it all back again. And let's make sure that we're on the right page. So I think we came... Oh my goodness. What did I do? Out here? Down one. Out? Down one? Is that right? I think that looks right. Down one. Out. Down one? Yes. And then I can marry that up and kind of have that just about there. Oh my goodness, doesn't this look whimsical? Doesn't this look whimsical? I definitely think we're missing a fence. I definitely think that we need some sort of fence. I don't know if it's this elegant white fence. I fear that it is not. Let me change those. But then equally, I'm like, I don't know if it's the wrought iron fence. That doesn't feel quite right. Maybe it needs to be the... Wait, maybe it needs to be the brick fence. Why did I not think of that? So if I actually do end up leaving this pathing in, this brick fence goes so good. Otherwise, something that I didn't consider was bringing in these. And I only didn't do that because initially they didn't match my vision. However, if I leave this path, well, they very much match that path. So if I put those down, we might be able to formalize, I guess, these formal gardens with some more brickwork type effect. Let me see. Where would you go? That is the $1 million question. Well, it does kind of touch the topiary down here. So you could block the area off like that. Let me just see what it looks like with removing that topiary. It might need the light one first. Something like that, and have it feel more of a formal walled garden, maybe? You know, something like that. And then unless we go back to our original idea of then having the topiary behind that, and then you could even have it clip slightly in some way into that. Have that. I don't know. I do kind of like that too. The back will bug me. The back would bug me. So maybe it's not that, but maybe a tree or a shrub also fills in that specific gap. I think that's already our smallest one, right? I feel like I've been here before, but that's okay. I kind of like this, friends. I do kind of like this. also love the curved one, but it's not, I don't have enough of that. It's a shame I can't clip into this one with this. That would have been cool. But you could have the walled garden just kind of come across like that. And then we could put a small tree or shrub somehow, you know, actually just like this in that space to do that. I might not use that cypress, but that's a good example of something that might fit. So let me go ahead and try this on this side. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do something like this. I think that just formalizes it in the way that I was hoping. For that one, I need to get rid. I need to come down. What was it, to there? I think. Although that one's slightly different. So let's see. Because that's got to get rid of that. And then that goes in the corner, right? So in theory, it would be something like that. They changed these as well, because you never used to... I didn't think you were able to clip into the edges like that. That feels new. That feels new. I don't know. I don't know if I'm losing my mind. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, I'm absolutely loving it. I don't know whether to work with this rather than against it and see if I can... I know that looks kind of good, right? I don't know whether to do something similar down here, unless I just leave those ones... Unless I just leave those ones squared off. I actually really love how that looks, like with the brick flipping into each other. But I don't think it's going to be possible. But you know what? This is all about just trying things, so why not? Take a look, see what we can do. I mean, I have, of course, tweaked the size of the path. So there's a lot more path going on, but it could be that we just do that as a diagonal, like that. Because I can't decide if that still ends in the same place. I think that it does. Round about there. So then I could have maybe 2 of these. So what, 1, 2. Okay, it doesn't seem as though I can have it for that one. So it seems as though some of the grid is tweaked, but not all of it. Like if it was fixed on these, that should be able to sit there, but it would be inside of that. You know, it needs to be able to come across one more tile. But let me see. I mean, that's not the end of the world. Not if I put a bench in front of it anyway. Obviously that bench needs to be centered, but wait, that feels better. And now I've not got any topiaries, so I need to think about whether we still use dead topiaries. Maybe, where do you want to go? Do you want to go here? Can I move those? Can I just move those on the grid? I don't think I can. On the group mode? Wait, can I? I can. Maybe... Are you centered? Or are we off? We're off, right? We're definitely... We're definitely off somewhere. Ah, there. That would be it. There's just a slight gap. Okay. Well, you know what? Why do I kind of like that? Why do I kind of like that compared to what we've got on this side? And on over here, it would just be the 1, right? We'd just do the 1 by there. I mean, we could still maybe just do the 1 down here. Whereas the wall's just slightly longer, but I'm not sure. Am I eating too much into the path or the space we've got on the inside? Where's my curved one? Let me grab a curved one and just see what we got going on. I thought I was going to be able to maybe place that there then, but it doesn't seem like I can just because it is still clipping, but it's not clipping, I should say, but that's okay. It would have been cool if I could, though. What if we do maybe just a small one around? This is so anal. What if we do just a small one? Ah, okay, yeah. I mean, you could just do a shrub around the edge, right? Around these corners of the brickwork. But I don't actually know. This is in a different place, so I've not got enough space. Oh, I thought that idea was gonna work. Do you see how it's still got like the view through the middle? That's what I was thinking. All right, well, I still like this setup. I do still like this setup. It's just a matter of if I use a hedge and where we use the hedge. But we could do... Wait, we could do this. Let me get rid of that, that, and that. And then let's bring this path out. Pop that out the way. And then what have we got? We've got you sitting just behind there. And we've got you on the 45. Little gap. And we got you on the 45. So we could have maybe this topiary. Is that about right? And then just bring that down by one. I think we've got it. I think we've got it. I think we have got it. Let me test that it works down here too, but I think that it will. Let's pop that one there. Pull that back by one. Let's pop that, even though we haven't got the wall there yet. Bring that back by one. I'm just going to correct this path. So it looks as though I'm missing one. There we go. I am. Look at that. I was missing a tile. And then I'm going to bring that over there and there. And then that means I can duplicate this little wall setup that we've got. One here. Actually, it looks as though I've expanded that, haven't I? Okay, so I need to do one there and one there. And then we put the wall 1, 2, 3. Just like that. And then maybe even down the bottom we put the... No, Oscar, don't do it. There we go. That's it. That's the brick layout for sure. I really, really like how that looks. And we'll do the seat. Are you in line? You are in line with that gap. Are you in line with the gap? You are, but can you go back one? That's interesting, because that does seem to line up. But on this side, the seat is much further out. Let me see that real quick. Let me try and line that up. So you're staying there. On that line, let's keep it going. Oh, I think I dropped one. Yeah, that's funny. Look, it touches the back. It touches the border, whereas on this side, it does not touch the border. Actually, it looks as though the brick wall in general is out. Am I out? I am. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. That needs to come across by one, which means that needs to come across by one. I was about to say that's got to be a me issue, but I'm still not getting... Okay, there and there. All right, we fixed it. We fixed it. There we go. Okay, that's fun. That's fun. That's fun. That's fun. I'm very into that. Look at that beautiful formal garden now. I love that. We still need some small foliage elements in that, of course, so we can go ahead and try and put those in. I didn't know whether to use these spirit water curtains in any way, just to kind of add the fountain feel. I mean, I think that looks quite good actually, so perhaps we do something like that on each side. What we would be missing, however, is if I line this, where would you want to go? You'd want to go there, right? That's where that brickwork wants to go to match. So I think we probably would end up needing something in that spot, but let's do... I'm just trying to work out how I can space that on this side too. So where are you going? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks as though it's 8 away from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That seems to be the equal spacing to line up, which does kind of track. So let's do that. Let's do that. Yes, 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 yes. Let's do that. Then maybe we do bring in some of these little pink trees as well to tie in the color palette. Let's do that. I don't mind that being in the water. So let's do one there. I'm going to do maybe one around about there. Something along those lines. Yeah, kind of like that. I'm going to do the same thing at the front. So I'm just going to almost line it up from a bird's eye view visually as best as I can. Kind of something like that, unless I tweak that to about... Yeah, let's tweak that to about there. So actually, I'm going to delete that one, I think, and I'm going to use that instead. Like that. There we go. We got some nice pink colors coming into that as well. And then finally, I think maybe we could just pop in one of these pastel flower bushes. Maybe one there. One there. One there. And one there. Just like that. Nice, formal, regal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to group mode all of that. I'm going to get rid. We do need to remember what we did. So if I remember correctly, we just took this, right? All the way across. So if I jump into diagonal, I can do that. And I think that should be right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of this. Look at that, ready to go. Grab all of that, save the preset. I'm going to save that as courtyard 2, not number 1. And then if I reset, come out, go to my presets, I should have courtyard 2 just down by there. And then it's literally just a matter of popping it in place, which is wild to me that we can do that now. Look, just like that. And it's done. It's done. Oh my goodness. What a luxury and what a privilege to be able to do that. That is so cool. Now, I'm wondering whether to possibly bring in some of this brickwork again. And I didn't know whether to, now that I'm using them, so I'm not bring, that's me saying bring, the brick. I didn't know whether to use maybe some of the gates, like instead on this central section. I don't know, just like this, you know? And then maybe I could have the flower planter one coming out this side with the end on it, with the brick lamppost end. What I will say is, actually, it would be a dream if that lined up, but I can't do that because of that. But maybe I don't need those gates. Maybe those gates are just completely redundant. And maybe I just... All right, let's see. Let's see. If I pull this down to here, don't think I can get one in nicely. Actually, I can. Who'da thunk? Looks like I'm out of those ones. So what I will do is I'll save it. We'll Mirage it. I'm going to save it as brick. And then I can reset, grab, pop that down just like that. And I wonder whether to have those right up against the house or whether to have this. You know, what if I bring in this again? Here. And then maybe here. Oh, look, it bugs into where the... It bugs into where the mailbox would be. That's such a shame. I really wish... I know it's probably a little bit complicated, but I wish that if you remove the mailbox, it would remove the footprint of it too. So I'm going to have a think about what to do with that. Maybe it's a case of getting rid of the end. I'm just going to place it down so I've at least got a Mirage, and then remove that, and then I could bring that in and bring that in, and maybe we use maybe we do use those trees that I had, because they do fit. So maybe we do that. Kind of like that. How far away are you from the edge? You're on the edge, which is fine. Then you're one away from the back. Yeah. So we could do something like that. That would be fine. That would work. So I think if I got rid of that, I wouldn't be able to fit. Oh, I would. I would. Interesting. However, I do think I like having the end caps on those. Let's come out of there so I can buy those little Mirage pieces. I love this feature. If you didn't know, if I haven't said it enough, I absolutely love this feature. And I also love that the floating island doesn't have like an item limit, so you can just decorate really to your heart's content, which, you know, sometimes we're limited in the valleys and in the DLCs because of the item limit. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Where did everything go? After I was singing the praises, it happened. We lost everything. The bug is still there. Look at that. I don't even remember what we did. That is unfortunate. It looks like I'm going to have to pull out the presets, maybe? If it's saved. So it saved the preset, but it didn't save the brick one. So I think I might be able to get away with this if we play our cards right. I'm just trying to look how far back that's taken us. Look at that. We got to get rid of all of this. Oh my goodness. Okay. We seem to be in a bit of a pickle, but it's not something that's the end of the world. We can manage. Interesting that it didn't save the other brick preset though, so perhaps I did something wrong. Oh no, it didn't even save Courtyard 2? It didn't save all the foliage? dear. Okay. Let me regroup and I will be right back. All right, I did manage to get myself just about back to where we were. That was unfortunate. I did have to rebuild everything, but these things do happen, as frustrating as they can be sometimes. This is Cozy. This is a Cozy long play, so I will refrain. I am wondering down on these sections, maybe if I bring in some of these, I feel like this could work in some capacity. I don't know. I just feel like it looks nice. It matches the brickwork that we've gone for. It matches all those different little bits. I think maybe I'm going to leave it and try it, perhaps. We've got a nice little walled bit down here with the border inside, so we can put some plants in that at least. I am thinking maybe I'm going to move this across by one. Actually, no, I'm not, because that's going to throw it out of line. So I'm going to keep that exactly where it is. I should have left it. And instead, I'm going to move this down one, this down. Actually, is that right? That's right. And then maybe just bring in the flower patch. If I can fit it, it will fit nicely. So we can do that underneath there, just like that. Make sure it's centered. And that looks super cute. And then even maybe some of the grass that clips into everything, this lovely beach grass down here, we could grab that, and then maybe we could, it won't clip into, okay, it won't clip into these trees. It clips into some trees, but not all, so it looks like this is one of them. I was going to have it here, but actually, I think it works as it is. I like that the way it's sat right now. Although part of me is wondering whether to have it kind of centered in this area, but no, I kind of like what we've done. I kind of like this, so let's stick with that. I am going to bring these pastel patches down as well into this area, just like that, so there's a little bit of color down here too. I really like this. Yeah, this is pretty. This is very pretty. It feels pretty. I love these two areas. I wonder if the grass would actually work over... Where is it? What did I do with it? It's down here. I wonder if it would work in this one. And it does. So we could maybe make this little section just like feel a little bit more overgrown just in that specific bed. Let's do one there. And we could do one there. Kind of like that, you know, it just has a little bit of growth to it. I like that. All right, so I think maybe other than these two side beds, which we have, maybe we're nearly done in this top section. I know we don't have a great deal of lighting, but, you know, I'm fine with that. This bit here, this might be a bit of a big gap, so there might be something maybe we could do in the area in front of the seating. I know we've got the well here, and that does look really good. But yeah, when we fill out this side, maybe it's a case of, I don't know, maybe we chop into this or something like that, and we just kind of start bringing this and have a little bit more of something with visual interest on this side, you know, kind of like that, just to break up that path, and we can pop some foliage in the middle like that. I think that's probably a good idea. But for now, why don't we come down to this bottom half and see what we can do down here. So I'm going to move this. I'm actually going to move some of these over here as well, just to start getting some stuff kind of like out of the way, because we've got space behind the wall, which is nice, so we can put some stuff behind the wall and just really clear out this area to make sure that we've got enough room for building, which is obviously what we're here for. Let me move that up there. So that's that side cleared. I've not got one of those down, actually. I should probably move that across over there too. And then I can get rid of that cypress tree. And my initial thought is, actually, shall I bring these topiaries in somehow to this area? But then I'm kind of dangerously close, right, to that well then. But what if we do it like, I don't know, somewhere around about here, so it's still in line, Or maybe it doesn't even need to be on a diagonal. Maybe it can just be on a straight line. But I don't know. I do kind of like the diagonal look as well. So I'm just going to try placing those down just for a second in that area. I do believe that is centered by the look of it. And I think that one is centered. They seem to be roughly the same height. So that is always good. This lotus house is looking very pretty. Let me see if these trees kind of line up. Maybe this one needs to be a bit closer. Kind of something like that feels a little bit better. And then actually I think they can both space out slightly from each side. So maybe something like that. Something like that. Get rid of that one. And I don't know about the floral gazebo. Still undecided on that. We did have these out, and I know I used them in those corners, but I'm kind of wondering if I could use them anywhere else, you know? They do make a really nice texture and color. I've always wondered, like, could I make some sort of rounded shape with them in some way? Wait, I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to try it, see how it looks. Let me move that. Let me move that. And actually, I will probably need to move that one as well. I'm going to say luck's probably not on my side with this, but you never know. Do I know what this represents or is meant to be even looking like or doing? No, of course not, but I don't know. Don't you think that just looks kind of cool? I just feel like it looks kind of cool. Maybe I'm completely off kilter here, but can I select at least half of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I went back 8. Actually, that pool is going to be in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's obviously get in kind of close to the house now. I think maybe that needs to come across. Something like that. And obviously, if I were to have that line up, it would need to be all the way back there. Unless I just got rid of the middle one so you could still see the lotus. Do I know what they represent? No, but do I think it just adds a bit of like visual interest down on this side? Yeah, I do. Now, I can't fit a topiary in there, but what if I was to... I don't know, what if I was to fit one in somewhere else? Could we find somewhere else for it? Could we find another home? Could it be on either side like this? Yes, maybe? You know what? This is feeling right, so I'm gonna just carry on with that feeling. I know I had not ended up using this horseshoe or anything like that. And I don't want to block the lotus house, you know? I wonder what it would look like if I used this instead. Is there a space there that it would fit without being too much of a pain? I mean, I could do something like that. Right? Like to break it up. I also do kind of like that, I can't lie. The way the trees are behind those ones too. And then the other thing I wanted to try and use was like the... Where's it gone? Oh, this. I didn't know where to use this. I wasn't sure if this was something that could be used. But I thought it could be quite cool somewhere to bring in this particular element. Again, I don't even know what this actually is. I just call it like the magnifying glass. But I mean, it could go maybe like here. If we did something... What did I do over here? Like that? And then I did this one down, right? Could it go in the middle of that area? Does it need to make sense? No. Does it just need to look good? Yes. And then maybe we could make this, the surrounding areas around the lotus house, like a little bit more wild. Or some more foliage or some more trees or something like that. I think that could be a good idea. So I think maybe I forego anything relating to the water this time, unless we did a small pool kind of in the center, like a small pond type thing. Although we do have the cherry blossom pond. Now that could work. One here, and maybe one here as the water features. Again, I know it's got this slightly more Asian influence, but it still brings that water that I was looking for in. I do think I need to sort the path out around here a second, so let's just go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and do an extra one like this. And I'm going to come out of furniture mode and save that and hope that it saves. I need to be a bit better with my frequent saving. It does seem to have saved, which is good. I get a little bit scared that it's all going to delete now, but that's okay. I really love this tree. Like, I absolutely adore this little, like, I think it's a Pooh Bear tree. I was just wondering, can I find a home for that? Maybe just tucked behind this? I just really love the ribbon that runs across it and the little pink bow. And I like that you can see it just behind the pond as well. So that's already creating a cute little area for that. I think I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this peacock topiary, not needed. I'm going to drop that and that and that because I already have those. So I'm just trying to whittle away some of the stuff that we do see. Can't remember if you can buy more of these. If you can, that would be great because we could have some bunnies kind of like living on either side. That would be really fun. I think maybe I'm going to keep that out just in case. I'm going to keep the big gazebo out just in case. I do have this Pink Parks clock that I was not sure if we could maybe find a home for. What if we place that like on the corners here just while it's fresh in my mind, just on these edge pieces? So there's something at least at the end of that, which would be cute. And then I think we could probably bring in maybe this carriage. Now, it would be really cool if the carriage could go under the gazebo, but unfortunately it can't. But don't you think that the carriage goes really nicely with this build? It's like it belongs here, but I just don't know where. I just don't know where it belongs. Is it a case that it fits like in this section? No, not really. That feels all a little bit too tight. So maybe I don't use the carriage on this one. Unless I pop the carriage on the edges. You know, the corners over here? That could possibly work. Maybe it's the topiary throwing me off. I would really like to fit this in. I feel like it fits the build. This is going to bug me. I feel like it needs to come out the other side. Even if it's just for one. Just to make sure that it catches the other side of that building. So let me do that. Actually, let me move that. Bring that out across. And then I can pop this back in. I believe. Are you centered? You are. And then I'll just bring one more out and down. It looks as though maybe I need to bring that down the side. Maybe we'll revisit the carriage. Unless I just get rid of the bench and we park the carriage here instead. That feels a little bit more regal, right? I do love the bench in this build, but what if I just get rid of them on the outsides and instead we use it as a kind of like a parking space for the carriages? Maybe we could even come down another one like that. And I wonder if I could do the same on this side like that. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, so we've got the nice big formal gardens, and then we've got this like slightly wilder area out here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring that maybe here. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna bring that 3 back, and then I'm gonna just take a look. So it seems as though something is closer. The topiary is closer on one side, but I'm not sure what I'm looking at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aha, I see. It's the tower. So this side has the door on it, which is fine. Let's do that, and let's do that. That looks evenly spaced. Well, maybe that... I think it... No, you know what? I'm gonna live with it. Oh, I know what it is. That was off by 1. I don't have to live with it after all. There we go. Is that right? Are you aligned or are you misaligned? I think you're misaligned by 1 to my eye. Cool. Yeah, we'll go with that. That looks good. They're pointing in the right direction. I think maybe it's a case of just filling this back section in with foliage, right? I'm going to get rid of those bits that I have used. I'm going to create a preset of this. And we're going to do companions. I'm going to OK that. And then before I use it, I'm actually going to come out of furniture mode just to make sure we're all saved. And then I'm going to preset that and I'm going to bring that in. And then hopefully if I come back out of furniture mode, I should be able to purchase another one of those without it all going too wrong. Oh, can you only have one? Okay, that makes sense. I thought that you could possibly buy more of those companion houses, but it seems as though you can only have one, which is a shame because it would be a nice like central item in both of those areas. But if that's the case, I'm going to get rid of that and not use it in this build. I'm fine with doing that. I don't need Dinah's house. It does not really match in any way to what we're trying to do. And then obviously we've got a few little bits left over. We've got the stone fence. We do have all of these columns and such, but actually I don't think I need to use them. I didn't end up going down the marble route that I thought that I was going to go. So actually that's not a bad thing. It's nice to do something different to what I originally planned. And sometimes when you do these builds, it just happens, you know? It just comes to you and you kind of go with it. So I'm going to delete some of this stuff. I'm going to move these over here just because I might use those. Don't know where I'd even use that table, but still. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these brick pieces, these tables, move some of the foliage in place. And I think I'm going to sacrifice all of those. I still, I think the banner, originally I was thinking the banner could look quite cool, but I think it's a bit too bright for what we're going for. So I'm going to get rid of that one as well. The one that does actually look quite good though is the Disney 70 one. But again, even the blue on that is quite is quite substantial, but you can turn it around and have that. I just didn't know whether I wanted it to feel regal, but I didn't know if it felt too out of place. And I think that it might, but then equally I do quite like it. So I'm not sure. Maybe I leave it and I see how I feel at the end. Okay, let's continue getting rid. Don't think I need this. Let's move that over as a just in case. Can only have one of these jasmine items, I believe. So as pretty as that one is as well, and it is very, very pretty. The fact the lotus kind of like moves and stuff like that. I don't think it's gonna work, not unless I had double lotus and you kind of like walked around it to get to the house. But it would have been cool to have one under each of these. I think because it's a quest item, you can't have more than one, which is a shame, but understandable. It's never changed. I'm going to move the grate over here. Those final little finishing touches. Maybe the rose as well. Don't think... Right, those petals are going to go everywhere. I don't think I need this stool type thing. This seat's still very pretty, but again, don't need. We've got some foliage over there. Again with the foliage. Again with the horse, which I think will probably go in these borders. These Tinkerbell lights are perfect, and then we've got a pile of magnolia, and I think we might be good to start bringing in some of the big foliage items. I just move all of these kind of out the way, so I have access to this back area first. Just like that. I do still think that I could probably get away with keeping one of the big flower gazebos in each corner, depending on what we put around it. But I don't know, I just like that pop of pink on each side. So I think I'm going to keep that over there. I'm going to change this back to diagonal for now, so everything's got a little bit more edge to it. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to jump back into not similar items, but into trees. And we're going to take a look and see what we've got. We've got these big Pixie Acre blooms. We've got these Pixie Acre bellflowers, which is actually that. So it seems mislabeled. We got the Pixie Acres hops, the large bellflowers. And then we've got the ladybug blooms. I'm not going to use the sunflower, as I said earlier. But there's a fair amount that we can work with on that front. And then also I want to bring in some of the regular kind of basic ones. I'm actually going to move these down the side just for a second while I have the space. I think maybe we use some of the regular trees, like the default valley ones. Maybe one of the maples. Can't decide which color looks best. I think probably this color goes nicest, which is not the simple one. It is the tall one. So I'm just going to put those ones down because there's 3 shapes of that tree, of course. What else we got? We got the birch trees, which always look good. So I'm going to place some of those down just while I can. I know there's a double one as well. I think there might actually be 4 types of birch tree, but I'll leave that. I'll leave those 3. I didn't think about using the plaza trees in any of these areas. I actually kind of forgot about the plaza trees because we ended up using the topiaries instead. But actually, I'm going to place the plaza one just in there in case we use that area. I know we do have the plaza hedges as well, but what else have we got? We've got the... I think actually, other than these green trees, which I don't think I'm going to use, that might be it in this menu. I know that I've got a couple of trees then as well, also in the foliage one. So we do have that sycamore one, which I deleted earlier. which might be worth bringing back in slightly just for a different tone. We've got a willow, but I don't want to use that willow. And then I think that's probably about it. We do have quite a lot of stuff in this foliage tab now, but it all seems to be a little smaller than what I am after. I know that we do have this like spring archway as well. I didn't know whether to use this. This did feel a little bit fantastical still, so I didn't know whether to actually pop that in as like a self-contained entrance to this front porch area, maybe. Because what we could do, I know that I'm not meant to be working on this section, but just give me a second. What we could do is we could remove that and we could place the gold path in. Because I do have enough of that with the border, I think, to be able to do that. And that could actually be quite cute. It makes it feel a little bit different. Right? Something like that. That's nice. And then I wonder if we use that gold path anywhere else, but I'll have to think about that. But I do quite like how that adds a vibe. In that case, I'm not sure if that fence is needed anymore. But I am going to leave it in for now. I'm going to leave it in for now. So what else have I got? I've got those big trees. I think foliage we're good on, so it's just a matter of spreading it all out. I do know that there are some like big rock bits. Obviously the tangle tree cluster is there, but I am sure that there is a peaceful meadow one somewhere, unless I'm mistaking the mossy rock. Overgrown wild tangle rock, mossy rock, tropical greenery. It's not the tropical one. I thought that there was a peaceful meadow one, but I must be misremembering. Unless it was added as a later date, but I don't think that's the case. Oh, the other thing to think of is using the big pink trees too. So just bringing those in a different place. All right, so what I'm going to do is just see if any of this fits in. I actually quite like... Actually, if I move these ones onto the path to get them out of the way, what I might be able to do is get some of the bigger structures down, like these big ones, then fill in the space around those. Because I don't need too much, I just need like enough. So we could have maybe one here. And then maybe one kind of about there. Just so it's off in the background, a little bit more whimsical, a little bit more interesting. I've got these ones as well, which maybe could just go on the edge. So if I were to do maybe something like that, maybe we line it up sort of with the middle of that. And then what if we do the same thing over here, but I'd have to get rid of that one first, which I think I don't know, I still like that one too, because it's very pink. So maybe I do like that one as well. So what if I place that just behind... What if I place that one just off the back of that? Let me get rid of that one. Let's do this one maybe over here. So that kind of looks just about right. Obviously that is in the way. And I think that just about fits. Just something like that. And then maybe we could bring one of those over there. And then maybe even one of those kind of like that. I think that works. And then let's do... Let me just move that out the back because I don't know if I'm going to use that one. Then finally I could bring... Actually, I could just leave that in the back corner, right? Leave that in the back corner, and then we bring some of the big trees in to just fill in the rest of the space. So actually, just while I see it, I'm going to delete that bit of path just coming out the back of there. So we've got the two trees. Where are they? Do they need to be sort of like middle-ish? Yeah, kind of like that. Bring it forward maybe a smidge. I've got what, this one? Maybe that could go like right in the middles. I know I'm blocking some of the stuff here, but different angles will get different looks at them after all. And maybe one of these like out to the side. Possibly one of the smaller ones like in the middle. And then maybe another one just off the edge of the turret. Kind of like that. And I think that might be about it. I want to keep it nice and free coming down towards the lotus. I think that's something that I'm trying to bear in mind. Unless I get rid of those two. And I bring in another smaller one like that. Yeah, I think that works. I don't need to fill in that space too much. I just wanted that to be much more natural than the structured side on this end. So I think that looks good. I'm really happy with that. And then maybe we could just drop in some of these pink ones. Could I fit in maybe a giant one like that? Where did that even go? Just off to the side? Kind of might round about there. Something like that. And then, I don't know. I think maybe that's it. On those bits. And then we could just fill in with some smaller shrubs and stuff around the front, especially like the grasses. So we could do a grass here, maybe a grass here, maybe a grass at the base of the tree, maybe a grass on the edge, kind of like that. Definitely a grass around the base of whatever that is. Grass popped in the middle, just to add a little bit more texture and height. The nice thing about this one is that I could clip the grass like all the way around the edge of the actual lotus house, which is quite cool. So we could actually do that all the way around, which is what I'm going to do. So it looks as though it doesn't have that hard edge on it. Then it's got that nice soft blending into the biome, and then we won't have it come onto the path, which is quite cool. So let's do that. Let's try and finish that and find the rest of those pieces. Maybe there. One more maybe? Can we fit one more in? Looks like I might need to go up one. Kind of like that. And then up one with that. And then I should be able to squeeze one in. Round about there. So that lotus flower is then like in the grass, which I love. And then finally, if I jump into underbrush, but actually I think I have some of the underbrush stuff out. So like these pastel flower patches, obviously I love these, especially in a build like this where they are full on color palette appropriate. So you can kind of just dot those really wherever you want. Maybe out the back, maybe one off to the side, just like that. Do one on this side too. And then maybe we bring in... You know what? I don't think I need much more than that. I was going to bring in some shrubs as well, but I don't think it actually needs it. The last thing that we could do is, I know that somewhere we've got these nice petals, so we could just dot those about maybe in a couple of different places, I guess. Kind of like that. Oh yeah, that adds a nice texture to the ground too. So maybe I just do one out the back, and then I do another one on that side, and we go with that. And then maybe even like have a pile of them, quite cute, on each side of like the doorway. Ah, I love that. Yeah, yeah. This is definitely more like pixie-esque than I was initially anticipating, but I really like how it turned out. I'm going to get rid of this path just because it's now bugging me and we don't need it out the back. Because I just spotted it. Let's get rid of that. I don't know if maybe in some places it needs something a bit more visually interesting. I don't know whether to mix it up and do something like this. That could be an option, and maybe we have the gold path like amongst that. Actually, I quite like that, just doing that straight off the bat. Let me do that again without moving my lovely little birds. So that could work around there. It couldn't work on those other ones because they're only 2 tiles wide. Maybe I also do it here. Missed one by the look of it. Let me do that one, that one, that one. Actually, I'll just do the 3. Oh, yeah, that's cute. I like that. And then maybe I could do it all the way down to this house. So I do 1. Actually, let's come 1 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of like that. And I think that's good enough. So what I'm going to do for those ones, I'm going to grab... I'm going to grab the full gold path, I think. Yeah, let's do the full gold one. Unless I did the... No. The brick one won't be right. Let me grab the golden brick road with border. And let's just put one of those in each. It's kind of like a stepping stone, I guess. 1, 2, 3. Do it on the other side as well. And that gold matches the fountain, which is nice. Let's do that. And then let's do 1, 2, 3. And make sure it's covered off on the other side as well. And then we can also have them on approach to this lotus house. I do wish the path kind of like actually went to the edge. The only one that does, which is really interesting, is the brick road. So this one we got with Lady and the Tramp, it does actually go to the edge of its bounding container, whereas the other ones kind of sit inside a little bit. It would be a game changer if we could do that, or at least control that, but it is what it is. We manage with what we've got. I like this. I like this a lot. I think it's cute. No. I like what we've got. Okay, finally, I think the last thing to do is a couple of bits along the back, and then also these borders. But these borders are not going to take too long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a horse in this one. Just like that. And then in this other one, I think that we can just create some sort of nice structure or structural look. Maybe with a few different foliage elements. to make it look as though it's been intentionally designed, because that's what these structural gardens tend to do. Maybe something kind of like that on that side. Didn't know whether to use this or not. I don't think I'm going to. Oh, I forgot about the silver birches. That's why I don't have enough canopy difference over here. So I'm going to get rid of those corner ones and I'm going to pop in the silver birches instead. And then maybe I'll get rid of the ones on the ends and we will do... Oh, maybe we'll do this tree instead. One here. And one here. Just so we've got a bit of differentiation in canopy and leaf and in color. Yeah, that looks fun. That looks super fun. Okay. Let's grab... What should we grab? What should we grab? Well, that board is kind of just doing its own thing there. Maybe we could add some of these just in amongst to add a bit of interest like that. I'm going to get rid of that one. I don't think I need the rose either. I wasn't really sure where I was going to place that anyway. Oh, actually, wait, it can go up on there. Oh, because it's like a table, right? I mean, that looks kind of cute. It looks stupid maybe on mud, but I actually kind of like how that looks. I don't think you can place the foliage. Actually, I need to check that. I don't think you can place any of the underbrush foliage on a table. I think it has to go on the ground. It's in trees. Where are you? Where are you? The Eternity Isle stuff. Maybe it's not in trees. Maybe it is in foliage. I'm just forgetting. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, it can't go on tables. That's okay. I wasn't sure for a second, but I think I must have forgotten about it. Do I have anything in foliage that could go up on there? I don't think so. I mean, I've got a few small little bits like this. Again, they're kind of sitting on mud, so it looks a little bit odd, but I don't have any flowers in my inventory right now, so you know what? This will do. This will do for now. It feels princessy. And then next to the horse, because we are forgetting about him, let's do... What else have we got out? Do we do these? Kind of like that. So it's just a bit, I don't know, something a bit different, something a bit interesting. And I think that actually looks quite cool just as a side path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group mode these. I'm going to save it as foliage. Save that. And I'm going to group mode this. I'm going to save that as foliage 2. Before I do anything, I'm going to come out of group mode and I'm going to come out of furniture mode because we've made quite a lot of edits and I forgot my own rule, which was to come out of the game and save more frequently. Naughty Oscar. And then I can grab this. I should be able to come back into my presets and grab foliage, place that down, what, right about there, I think? Like that. Looks like it's a little bit closer to the house on that one, so I think I've done that right. And then also foliage 2. And then drop that in right by there. Although I think maybe I put both of them too far back. So we've got foliage going in there. We have foliage going in. Actually, I kind of like it. I kind of like it by there. We got foliage going in there. And then we've got foliage 2 going in. What, round about there. But I do need to rotate that one. Right, just like that. And then those are done on either side. Perfect. Just what we were after. Just what we were after. I don't know whether to put a rug. I would love some different types of rugs that maybe aren't... I don't know. I know that these are under rug, but different type of rugs that don't feel fabric based. That would be quite cool. So I was just wondering if there was anything I could put underneath these carriages. I mean, I do have the giant feather. Does that make sense? Not really. But does anything in this build make sense? Also not really. So what else have I got? Because we've got a stone rug, which is quite cool. I don't think the snowflake one is going to fly for this. I mean, I do have this big pink rug, but again, not quite what I am looking for. None of them really are, to be honest. So maybe I just pop a little rug just underneath for anybody stepping in and out of the carriage. Kind of like that. Don't think I'm going to use this table anywhere. Even though I do really love the color of it, I just don't think it's necessary in this build. I've used that. I don't know, let's see if we can find a little home for this gold thing. This gold thing, as if I even know what it's doing. Let's put it maybe one here and one here. Just as a bit of embellishment. Don't have any lighting down. That's the one thing I am thinking. I don't have any lighting, so maybe these candelabras need a touch of use, perhaps. Maybe one here. Like that. I mean, at least we got one then, right? We got one light. I'm kind of wondering whether that spot works. Although it looks as though I misjudged my path there. Forgot that little bit. So let's change all of those back. That looks better. And then what if we do... Maybe it just needs some balancing out in the corners. Like that. Just one in the corner, just over there. And you know what? I think that's fine. For the candelabras. And also I do have all of these lovely, like, little bits. Just stuff like that. I guess I could place there and there. And then I do have the nice little one that folds out like a fan palm type thing. Oh, and it does fit right by the doors, which is nice. Yeah, kind of like that. And I wonder if we have it right over here by the entrance as well. Yeah, that's fun. Great, I always like, to be honest, for adding, I don't know, something realism, I suppose, to a build. So maybe we just do them kind of there. Maybe on the intersections. Like that. Because these ones do produce steam as well, which is quite cool. I think that's enough of those. And then finally, these little Tinkerbell lamps, which I've completely forgotten about. So let's go ahead and do one of those on each side of that. So those are actual light. Well, I say they're light, they're quasi-light. Let's do one there. Let's do one there. Wonder if we could sneak one. I hate those in the corner. I'm sorry, I know I just placed them, but I absolutely hate them. We could do it on the edge of that. No. All right, I'll just do it on that corner. And then I wonder if we could sneak them in the build anywhere else. But I think we're pretty full up in terms of that sort of stuff. So maybe we don't, unless we just have them on the... Unless we just have them on the approach to the house. Kind of like that, maybe. And I think we might be done. Except we're not done. But I'm going to get rid of that. We do have some stuff down the back we need to do, right? So let's just take a quick look at what we've got left. I know we've still got this like balloon, but now I fear... Well, actually, let's do it in line. All right, we can use this. We can use this. Let's do it in line with that. So it's in line with the fountain. And we bring it out to about there. And let's do it on the other side. So from just behind the walls, you can see that there's something outside. And then I'm going to... I don't think there's anything much taller than that I can work with. Maybe we could put one of these on the edge right by here. I'll need to move some of this stuff. Let me see what we've got. And then this could go over that edge, just like that. And then I wonder if we can get those bellflowers back, or maybe even just the pink and the purple ones. So I go to trees, grab maybe these ladybug blooms, and just have them peeking out. You know, just peeking out just from behind that. Remove that one. I'm gonna rotate that. Maybe like... Where are you coming over? You're coming round about there. Kind of about there. And the purple one just peeks out the top, which I like. And then I'm just gonna fill in the gaps with these ones. And I know that there's a tall one. Where are you? There you are. There's a tall one here, so we could place that maybe on each side. Maybe we do another big one there. Perhaps there. Tree there. Maybe there. And I think that kind of just fills it out nicely to give the illusion that there's more behind the walls that you don't have access to. But in general, I think that's really fun. I think I do need to make that path just disappear slightly under this. I'm going to actually bring that all the way across. And I think that stops just about halfway through. And then over here, I'm going to go ahead and drag that out that way. Drag that out that way. Not sure how that's in a different place. But you know what? We'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. I do wonder if I could block that off at all. Is there a piece of foliage that could sit under that? I'm gonna say probably not. I don't know whether one of these could fit under. No. Unless I just use... Wait, unless I use the inauguration ribbon. And I do that. So you can't go out. Easy. Easy peasy. And then we can just fill in some grass. Perfect. We are, for all intents and purposes... Oh, wait. These. I don't know how to grab these. These floating pink petals. Now, for some reason, it wants to grab the floor, but I want to grab these petals. I don't know how. I just had them. Hello. There we go. I mean, these are a perfect addition, right? We definitely need some right in front of the house. I think it's going to be easier for me to get them from the menu. I do petals. We take one of those. We got the pink ones. Maybe we have it right on the entrance there. Right on the entrance there. Right on the middle there. And then maybe also on that one. And then let's do that one and that one. And then we've just got some nice petals floating in the air all around this beautiful build. All right, let's take a little tour of the finished build of this floating island. Of course, we start by the well first up, that beautiful cherry blossom well, very fitting with all of the aspects of this build. We've got all those beautiful, beautiful gold accents coming out, the gold floor with the path leading up to that stunning floral princess castle. I still like this archway with the lights on it. It feels very whimsical. And then the separate entrance kind of coming in here with the gold pathing. I think that is a super fun addition. Of course, we've got all the petals floating as well, which I really like. Moving over to the big impactful fountains. This blue, I think, adds a different tone. It obviously ties into a few of the other elements that we've used, especially these ribbons with the little bluebirds holding those up. I love those. Coming down the side with my hair doing all sorts of stuff. We've got those really big bellflowers, which I think add a lot of impact. And then we've got another view of the fountain, of course. Coming around the back. And then just down the side, we've got our structured little topiary areas. We've got all of the nice foliage and the hedging. The very nice carriage, which I could just wish I could get in and drive, but it does match the build. It's got the same tone, which I really like. And we did manage to fit that kind of sparkly, glittery fairy balloon in too. It does actually look like this is a building or some sort of, I don't know, fortress, I guess, a princess fortress, which I really like. But this is a better view of the fountain, which does definitely go. I really love how this turned out. Coming on over to the other side, of course, it's a duplicate over there, so we know that it is nice and symmetrical. But if we walk around the well, on the other side, we've got that nice lotus house, which I do think matches perfectly with this build and all the pinks that we have going on. I really, really love this. We've got the ponds on either side. We've got some of the Tinkerbell lights as well in there. Just everything's looking so good, especially with all the foliage, kind of like drawing your eye away, but still enough texture to make it interesting. Then we've got the approach to the lotus house with those stepping stones. But all in all, I think it just turned out really nicely and I love this build. All right, my friends, that is it for today. That is it for this decorating video. I really do hope that you enjoyed that. I had so much fun putting this one together. It is a beautiful, beautiful build. I really enjoyed it. I hope that you did too. Please do feel free to like the video if you haven't already. Maybe even subscribe to the channel for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content and more decorating long plays. One of my favorite things to make, especially content-wise. So if you do enjoy it, I would love to continue making more and sharing them with you. But with all that being said, I am going to leave it there for today. Let me know down in the comments maybe what your favorite part of this build is, or if you took any inspiration. I'm always eager to hear how you use any of my tips and tricks in practice. But I will catch you in the next one, my friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I will, of course, see you in the valley.